Doing fine. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can, please type yes. Thank you so much. I will not be able to see anyone, or I will not be hear anyone. So because all of your sound and video are muted at my end. Is the sound audible clearly to everybody? Rupali says that the sound is not audible. Can you hear me, Rupali? Everybody else can hear me. Looks like I think Rupali cannot be here. Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bhavna, Swati, Utkarsh, Rashmi, Lajju. Rupali has still a difficulty with her sound. Deepak, thank you so much. Nikhil, Raksha, thank you so much. Sonali. Rupali, yes. Rupali is able to hear me now. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we will start our Bhagavad Gita session for today within next 2 minutes. It is 8:58 here in Canada, and in India it might be 2 minutes short of 6:30 p.m. I'm going to share my computer screen with you. Now it will be best if you can join using your laptop, but if you cannot, then you can use your cell phone as well. Try to use headphones if possible. Thank you, Neelam, Marisa. Thank you. So we have total more than 150 people registered for this course. Total 170 people registered actually. However, our classroom size is only 150 people, but we will see how many people can be accommodated in this classroom. All of you can see my presentation on your screen, hopefully, and you can see me as well while if you were during the presentations, there will be some question answers, and you will be able to type your answers in the chat box. Now, those who are joining using their cell phones, you will see a question or a chat box on your screen, and if you click it, you will be able to access the chat box. And to go back to the main screen, on the top left-hand corner, you will see an arrow. Just press that arrow only once, then you will go back to the main screen. If you press it twice, if you click it twice, then it will kick you out of the program, and then you have to log it back in. So if you are using your cell phone, just click the arrow on your left-hand screen only once and not twice. Otherwise, it will log you out of the schedule program, and then you'll have to log it in again. So let's begin our Bhagavad Gita session. I welcome everyone. Now, just a brief questionnaire here. How many of you have read or heard entire Bhagavad Gita in your lifetime? Can you please type if you have read entire Bhagavad Gita ever before? Just type yes. Jennifer says yes, she has heard. Utkarsh has not. Sagar has not. Rashmi has not. Sonal says yes. Helen says no. Perfect, perfect. So quite a few people have not heard or listened or read entire Bhagavad Gita entirely. So this will be a good beginning for all of us. What we are going to do is that I will give you a brief introduction about each chapter of Bhagavad Gita during these 8 sessions. And in these 8 sessions, along with introduction of the chapter, we will talk about important shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. And then we have a Facebook group set up, and I'm going to share the link of this Facebook group with you. So all of you can join the Facebook group. And in this Facebook group, which is dedicated, and this is a private group for people who are joining this course. So in this Facebook group, we will be sharing each shloka and understanding of each shloka every day. So one shloka at a day. And in that way, in this course, we will give the brief introduction. I will give you the background. We will prepare ourselves for reading the chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And then every day, I will be posting something or other in the group. And then you can share your videos, your questions, your experiences in the Facebook group. In that way, we will be able to keep in touch with each other throughout the course and even beyond. So if by chance some of you who are online at a different locations in the world, and if you have to leave your presentation in the middle of this session, then you can access the recording of this presentation. At the end of this presentation, you will get an email in your inbox. Now, sometimes this email might go in your spam box. So just check the spam box. You will get the entire recording of this presentation in your email. So you can review this presentation at any moment of the time. You can see the video again, and you will be able to access entire recording. And in that way, you will not miss anything out of this course. So beginning with this, I'm going to introduce myself. And just many of you know me, but just to complete the formalities, I'm going to introduce myself. Is there any microphone issue? I'm getting a notification on my screen that there might be a microphone issue. I think it should be fine, but just type yes or no. Is there any microphone issue? No, it's working fine. Perfect. Because I'm getting some notification on my screen that there is a microphone issue, but I don't think there is. So I am Dr. Prashant Jani. I am a physician here in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. I work with Thunder Bay Regional Health Science Center, and my area of specialty is cancer pathology diagnosis. And I'm working here in Canada for last 19 years. I also teach at the medical school, and I am an associate professor here at Northern Ontario School of Medicine. In addition to working as a physician and as a teacher at the medical school, I have been teaching Bhagavad Gita at various places in Canada for last 19 years. I have organized various workshops, events, which are based on the principle of Bhagavad Gita. Here is my Guru Maharaj. His name is His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He is in India, Delhi, and he travels all over the world, and I follow the instructions. And Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is the disciple of His Holiness, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Now, our presentations for today and coming few sessions will be entirely practical applications. There will not be any religious component to it. And you may believe in any sect, culture, caste, or any religion or any god, that's fine, perfectly fine. This course will not be a religious course. This course is going to be entirely spiritual course. So you don't have to be anxious about the religious component to it. So objectives of this course, this is an 8-week study course, and we are going to have a 2-hour session at a time. We will not be able to cover all the shlokas in this, but in our Facebook groups, we will be able to cover many of those shlokas. So in this 8 sessions, we are going to learn the basics of Bhagavad Gita, which means that we will summarize few of the shlokas and understand the meaning of some of the shlokas and chapters. And this will become the foundation for our reading, because sometimes Bhagavad Gita is in Sanskrit and it becomes very difficult for some of us to even start beginning and reading about it. So this foundation course will serve like a stimulus for us to understand Bhagavad Gita. And then along with understanding and learning the basics, we will see how we can apply knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. Now, Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. And Bhagavad Gita is still applicable in our day-to-day life. And that is what we are going to learn from these sessions. Now, before we begin the session, we do a short prayer or meditation or a mantra, and the mantra is on your screen. So those who are, wherever you are situated, if you know this mantra, you can read the mantra of the screen, or if you remember the mantra, then just close your eyes and repeat along with me for 3 times. And this mantra is again, it is not about any religion or sect. This is just to begin our class with a good auspicious mantra. So here is the mantra. I'm going to repeat 3 times and you can repeat along with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that was the auspicious mantra, and in yoga process, it is very important. Bhagavad Gita is a science of yoga. And in this yoga process, the importance of teacher or guru is very, very important. Before we begin any process, we pay respects to our guru. And our guru can be your spiritual master, or maybe your father, or can be your mother, or it can be your friend who can be your guru. So before beginning any auspicious process, we pay respects to the guru. So here is the Sanskrit mantra, which says, Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So what does this mantra mean? This means that I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So here in this mantra, we say that the knowledge which is given to us is by our guru, our teacher. And we never forget our teachers, because we are able to survive in this world because of our teachers, because of our father, mother, and they are all our teacher. Anybody who gives you instruction, who gives you some good knowledge is your teacher. And here I am paying respects to our guru. His name is Srila Prabhupada, and this is the picture of him on the screen. Now, this Bhagavad Gita presentation is based on this book. The picture is on your screen. It's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And our teachings will be in English because we have audience from Canada, from India, from USA, from different parts of the world. People have joined. Now, Bhagavad Gita is original text in Sanskrit. Now, somebody is typing here. Anand is saying that he's not able to hear me. I don't know. Everybody else is able to hear except Anand. So Anand, do you want to check your computer at your end? Because looks like everybody else is able to hear me. Thank you, Anand. So Bhagavad Gita is a text in Sanskrit, and this was translated from Sanskrit to English by Srila Prabhupada. Now, Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gitopanishad, and it is the essence of all the Vedic knowledge. Bhagavad Gita has the summary of entire Vedas, actually. So there are 4 Vedas, then there are Upanishads, which are 108, and there are 18 Puranas, and then there is Mahabharata. And Bhagavad Gita is the part of Mahabharata. Now, when Vedvyasji composed all the Vedas, Vedas are very vast. It has like hundreds and thousands of slokas, and we will not be able to read them in our lifetime. However, to be compassionate to all of us, Vedvyasji summarized all these Vedas into 108 Upanishads. But then he thought that, people in Kali Yuga, this current age is Kali Yuga. We are very busy and we don't have even enough time. So to be compassionate on us, after summarizing those Vedas, 4 Vedas, into 108 Upanishads, Vedvyasji summarized those 108 Upanishads into 18 Puranas. And out of which Bhagavad Puran is one of the main Puranas. And these Puranas also have hundreds and thousands of shlokas. So then Vedvyasji summarized those Puranas and take the gist of it and put it into a book called as Mahabharata. Now Mahabharata has 1 lakh shlokas, 100,000 shlokas. So Vedvyasji thought that, people in Kali Yuga will not be able to even read entire Mahabharata. So entire summary of all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all the Puranas, and entire Mahabharata is there in Bhagavad Gita. So if we can read Bhagavad Gita, then it is equivalent to reading all the literatures, and it is the oldest literature available to humanity, since the history of humanity. And it was compiled by Vedvyas, which means that Vedvyas did not write it from his mind, but this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was existing and is existing on the planet for millions of years, and it was being transmitted from one person to another person by Shabda, by Shruti. However, Vedvyasji thought that people in the Kali Yuga will not be able to remember all these things. So he transcribed those Vedas and put that into the words. So now Bhagavad Gita is being translated from Sanskrit language into English language by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. However, this Bhagavad Gita has been translated by his disciples, his followers, into more than 64 languages of the world. And I am following this Bhagavad Gita because our teachings are based on this Bhagavad Gita as it is, because this is the highest selling Bhagavad Gita on the planet. If you read this Bhagavad Gita as it is, then you will be able to see that every shloka has the words, and those words are translated word by word. Each word are translated into English, and then there is some translation of the entire shloka, and there is a purport. So we can understand by reading this Bhagavad Gita as it is that everything is as it is. There is no contamination, no adulteration. It is a pure nectar of divine knowledge. And that is why I am following this Bhagavad Gita as it is. And our teachings are based on this. Now, giving you some statistical features of Bhagavad Gita. And henceforth, all what I'm going to talk, this will be very important because there will be quiz or question answers during our session. So if you have a notebook or if you're on a laptop or if you want to write down some of these points, this will be useful because we will have quizzes, we'll have questions during our presentation, and this will help you to answer them correctly. So statistical features of Bhagavad Gita. Why do we need to know? Because we are studying Bhagavad Gita. This is a Bhagavad Gita course, and we need to know about all the numbers. What are we looking at? So total number of chapters in Bhagavad Gita is 108 chapters. Sorry, 18 chapters, not 108, 18 chapters. Total 18 chapters, and there are 700 slokas or verses in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita has total 18 chapters and 700 mantras, shlokas or verses. Now there are 4 speakers. Bhagavad Gita is actually a conversation, a dialogue. It is not a monologue. So we are also assembled here on this virtual platform, and technology has enabled us to be together. But we will also have a dialogue, which means that I will be saying something, but if you have any questions or concerns, you can type it on your chat box, and I will try to answer your questions and help you out during this session. So Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between 4 people. There are 4 personalities who are talking in Bhagavad Gita. First speaker is Lord Krishna, and he is the one who speaks about 82% of the shloka or mantra or dialogues of this Bhagavad Gita conversation are spoken by Lord Krishna. He speaks about 574. Then Arjuna speaks about 12% of them, about 84 shlokas. Sanjaya is the assistant of King Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra is the one who is listening. Sanjaya is the one who is transmitting this message to Dhritarashtra. And Krishna and Arjuna are speaking. So while Krishna and Arjuna are speaking, Sanjaya is hearing via telescience. He had a special type of vision called as Divya Drashti, and he was able to hear, and he was able to transmit the message to his king, Dhritarashtra, and we are going to talk more in detail about it. So these are the 4 speakers. Lord Krishna speaks 574, Arjuna 84, Sanjaya 41, and Dhritarashtra 1 shloka only. So now, as I said, Bhagavad Gita is the part of Mahabharata. Now many of you have heard about Mahabharata. Maha means great, and Bharat means a big country. It is not India. 5,000 years ago, India was called as Bharat, and it was named after a king whose name is Bharat. And Maha means great. So the geography or the expansion or area of Bharat, Varsha, was much wider than what is at this time. So it is Mahabharat. And in this Mahabharat, there are 100,000 shlokas, 1 lakh shlokas. And in Mahabharat, there are various chapters. And Bhagavad Gita occupies chapter number 25 through 42 in part called as Bhishma Parva. And the author, the writer is Vedvyas ji, and he's the one who compiled all the Vedas, Upanishads, Purana. Now, Bhagavad Gita can be briefly divided for our understanding into 3 sections. So chapter number 1 to 6, there are total 18 chapters, as I said. And chapter number 1 to 6, then 7 to 12, and 13 to 18. Now, chapter number 1 to 6 has more information about Karma Yoga. Chapter number 7 to 12 has more information about Bhakti Yoga, and chapter number 13 to 18 has more information about Gnana Yoga. However, the various yoga sciences are mixed. So 1 to 6 also has some Gnana Yoga, but predominantly Karma Yoga. 1 to 6 also has some Ashtanga Yoga science, and we're going to talk about it. Chapter number 7 to 12 has more information about Bhakti Yoga. However, Lord Krishna also speaks about Karma Yoga during these chapters. And then chapter number 13 to 18 has Gnana Yoga. However, Lord Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga also during this chapter. So this is just a brief summary for all of us. Now, Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song, right? Now, how many of you know the meaning of the word Bhagavad? If you know, just type it in your chat box. What is the meaning of the word Bhagavad? Bhagavad. Do you know the word Bhagavad means? If you know it, please type it. Bhagavad means God, Lord, God, 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 Lord, godly. Very nice. God, divine, God. Yes. Aparna is saying God. Very nice. Knowledgeable. Bhagwan Nivani. Very nice. Very nice. So Gita means song, and Bhagavad refers to word Bhagwan. The root of the word Bhagavad is coming from a word called as Bhagwan. Now, Bhagwan is also a Sanskrit word, and Bhaga means opulence. In Sanskrit, the person who has opulence, there are various types of opulences. In this our world, some people have a lot of wealth, money. Money is opulence. Some people have a lot of intelligence or knowledge, and knowledge is also an opulence. Some people have beauty. Beauty is an opulence. Some people have a lot of power. Power is an opulence. So all these types of opulences are there. Now, so Bhaga means opulence, and Van means one who possesses. So Bhagavan means one who has opulences. Now, according to Sanskrit dictionary, Bhagavan is used for one who possesses 6 types of opulences. So any one person having all these opulences in one person, only one person having all this together, is called as Bhagavan. So what are these 6 opulences? Shada Aishwarya, which means that 6 types of opulences one who has is called as Bhagwan. So Bhagwan is like a title. Like many people have a title called as doctor, or some people have a title engineer, or some people have a title Mr. or Mrs. Similarly, Bhagwan is also a title. And Bhagwan title cannot be used for anyone. Just like a doctor title cannot be used for one who is not a doctor, similarly, Bhagwan title cannot be used for anyone who is not Bhagwan or who does not possess those opulences. So what are these 6 opulences we are talking about? So this 6 opulences includes one who is very famous, one who is very rich, second opulence. Third opulence is knowledge. Fourth opulence is beauty. Fifth opulence is fame, power. And sixth opulence is renunciation. So one who possesses all these 6 opulences is called as Bhagwan. So Krishna is referred as Bhagwan, and because he had all these opulences, and the song means Gita means song. So Bhagavad Gita means the song which is sung by all opulent or God. Now, Bhagavad Gita has been read and appreciated by many scholars and philosophers and scientists and politicians all across the globe. Not only from India, but from all over the world, everybody has appreciated knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Why is that so? Because it has a universal truth. Mahatma Gandhi, who everybody knows Mahatma Gandhi, a famous freedom fighter and one who helped India to get liberated from British, said that when disappointment stares me in the face and all alone I see not one ray of light, I go back to Bhagavad Gita. I find a verse here and a verse there, and I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming tragedies. Now, Mahatma Gandhi's life what was not easy. He faced many challenges, many problems, and whenever there was some challenge or problem, Mahatma Gandhi used to turn a page of Bhagavad Gita and read it, and he used to find a verse and which used to help him to overcome those difficulty. And further, Gandhiji writes that those who read and meditate on Bhagavad Gita every day will derive fresh meaning and joy from it every day. So Bhagavad Gita is like a taking a shower. We all take shower every day from outside. Now, if you read a single line of Bhagavad Gita every day, it is like taking a shower from inside, right? Now, Henry David Thoreau, he is a great writer, philosopher from the Western world, and he writes that in the morning, I bathe my intellect in the stupendous and cosmogonal philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, in comparison with which our modern world and its literature seem puny and trivial. Now, he reads Bhagavad Gita every day, and he says that in comparison with whatever there in Bhagavad Gita, puny means very small, insignificant. Trivial means also insignificant. So he says that in comparison to the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, uh, the modern world, our world is very modern now. We have latest technology and so many facilities, and our literature is also expanding. But he says whatever is there in Bhagavad Gita, in comparison with which our facilities and our knowledge is very, very limited or very small. Everybody knows this famous person, Albert Einstein, is a great scientist. And he says that when I read Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous. So we can see that people from all yeah, I see that Marisa writes there that she did not know Thoreau did this. And yes, Marisa, Henry David Thoreau really appreciated Bhagavad Gita. And there are many more scholars and philosophers. You can read about them. They have appreciated the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So now let's break this monotonous session. And I've been speaking a lot. So maybe it's time for you to contribute something from your end. So I'm going to put some questions to you, and maybe some of you can participate and answer those questions. You can type in your chat box the answers. And remember, if you're using mobile phone, to go back to the main screen, there will be an arrow on your top left-hand screen. Just press it one to go back to the main screen. So the question for you is, how many chapters in Bhagavad Gita? And this is a multiple choice question. 15, 18, 13, 12. Please type how many chapters in Bhagavad Gita. Now I see that the total 91 people online at this time. And let's see how many of you answer here. 91 is a big number, a lot of people online. And everybody is answering number 18. And that is exactly the correct answer. There are total 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. And we are going to learn today chapter number 1, and we will begin with chapter number 2 also of Bhagavad Gita. And our target is that in 8 days, we want to finish all these 18 chapters with a little bit of understanding. And during our Facebook group, we'll talk about all the chapters and shlokas. Now, the next question for you is, how many shlokas in Bhagavad Gita? 250, 700, 720, 800. Please type in your chat box. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody is giving Bansi, Helen, Bella, Lajo, Parul. Oh, somebody said 100,000. Okay, interesting. Uh, 700, lost the sound. Somebody lost the sound. Maybe you want to check the sound at your end. 700. And yes, absolutely. 700 is the right number. There are total 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. And why do we need to know 700? Because we have a target. In a year, there are 360 days. In a month, there are 30, 31, sometimes 28 or 29 days. In a day, there are 24 hours. Now, why do we have these numbers in our life? Because when we have a numbers, we have a target. If we don't have a numbers, we don't have a target. And we are going to be very scientific in our approach. And so if you decide to read 700 shlokas, it's very difficult, but let's read one shloka a day. Then probably in a year, we can you can finish half of the Bhagavad Gita. And if we read 2 shloka a day, we can read entire Bhagavad Gita in 1 year, or similarly, we can decide our target. Now, the third question is, what is the meaning of the word Bhagavad Gita? Right? Fill in the blank. So you can type on your screen, song by God, Bhagwan song of God, God's song. And that is very, very nice. Song sung by God. Absolutely. So here, Krishna is referred as Bhagwan or God. And this is the song sung by Bhagwan, who is having all these opulences. Now, Bhagavad Gita is part of Ramayana, Upanishad, Mahabharata, or Purana. So what is the Bhagavad Gita part of? Rupali says Mahabharata, Anand is saying Mahabharata, Rashmi is saying Hemant, everybody is saying the correct answer. Suresh, Chandrasekhar, Helen is saying Mahabharata. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, so Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita is the part of Mahabharata, and it occupies the chapter number 25 to 42 in Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. So now we will begin today with chapter number 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita chapter number 1 is, yes, Deepak is saying full name is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and that is absolutely correct. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is absolutely correct. Some people short form it as Gita also. Some people say Bhagavad Gita, and to put Srimad in front of Bhagavad Gita is very nice. Honorary Srimad Bhagavad Gita is also a correct answer. Now we will go to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, setting the scene. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita will help us to understand the background of entire Bhagavad Gita conversation. And in this first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is a history of Mahabharata. A part of Mahabharata history is also there. And we're going to talk briefly about introduction to first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this will help you to read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita after finishing this. Now, we are also going to learn message from each chapter. Now, every chapter of Bhagavad Gita has a message. And that message is for our day-to-day practice, our day-to-day living, and how we are going to apply in our everyday yoga practice. So as I said, Mahabharata has total 100,000 shlokas, and Bhagavad Gita is part of it. And on your screen, you can see that here left-hand corner, Vedvyas ji is dictating Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata to Ganesh. Lord Ganesha is the one who is writing this scriptures. It is like one who Vedvyas ji is dictating, and Ganesh ji is transcribing it. Because Ganesh ji had a beautiful handwriting, and there was understanding between Vedvyas and Ganesh. So this happened 5,000 years ago in a Badikashram in northern part of India. And now it is a conversation which is happening between Krishna and Arjuna on a battlefield. And to go to the battlefield, we need to understand a little bit history of Bharat or India. And on your screen on the top, you can see there's a picture of King Bharat. And King Bharat was a great emperor who was ruling entire Bharatvarsha at this time. 5,000 years ago, there were no separate countries like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or even, in fact, even Canada didn't exist. America didn't exist. European countries didn't exist. Um, Everything was one big continent, and the big continent used to be called Bharat. And I'm going to drink some water. So entire continent was ruled by this king Bharat, and in this his dynasty came these two kings. One they were children of a king whose name was Vichitravirya, and Vichitravirya was son of King Shantanu. So these two sons, King Pandu and King Dhritarashtra. Now Dhritarashtra was the king who was blind from the birth. So Dhritarashtra being blind, even though he was the elder son of Vichitravirya, younger brother Pandu was throned as a king. And this is where the root of whole Mahabharat war lies here, is that Dhritarashtra had a desire to become a king, and he was prevented from becoming a king because of his physical inability. And eyes are very much important for a king, because if king cannot see it, then somebody might cheat him, and that is why he was not enthroned as a king. However, this Pandu, who was the younger brother, had 5 sons, and their names were 5 Pandavas: Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev. And one day, Pandu went to the forest, and because of unfortunate incident, he died. And at that time, Dhritarashtra was enthroned as a temporary king until elder son of Pandu becomes eligible, because he had all the abilities. So now the children of Dhritarashtra were 100, and 5 sons of Pandu, they were trained by a teacher called Dronacharya, and Dronacharya has a very important part in Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to talk about it in the whole Mahabharat war. Now, in the Mahabharat war, another few characters are Duryodhan. Duryodhan is he's the lead on the Kaurava side, and he has the personality of enviness, or he represents enviness. And his enviness is the root cause of entire war of Mahabharata, and we're going to talk about it. And then Duryodhana organizes various plots to kill 5 sons of Pandu, because he wants to take over the entire kingdom, and he tries to kill them or cheat them in a variety of ways. However, Krishna, who is the person, Bhagavan, who is the God himself, he is always on the side of Pandavas, because Pandavas were on the side of truth. And Pandavas had firm belief and faith in Krishna, and he always protects them. Now, in the Mahabharata, there are various episodes in which Pandavas are cheated in a dice game, and the wife of Pandava was humiliated in front of assembly of people, and they were sent to exile in the forest for 13 years. Now, after coming from exile, when they asked for their own kingdom, Duryodhana and his uncle and his whole family actually refuses to give back to right or kingdom back to Pandavas. And then inevitable war, Krishna didn't want to fight this war. Some people say that Lord Krishna, Bhagavan, how can he encourage Arjuna to fight? Fighting means killing, actually. And killing is not good. However, Krishna didn't want war to happen. Krishna went to Duryodhana and the Kauravas, and he requested them that please give them a little bit of space, maybe of 5 small villages, so that these Pandavas can live and perform their duty as a Kshatriya, as administrators. However, Duryodhana refuses to give any land or any rights or any rightful ownership of Pandavas back to them. So at that time, the war becomes inevitable. And Krishna decides that he is not going to fight, but he is going to be just a guide or a chariot driver. And at that time, Arjuna asked Krishna that I do not want your army, but I just need you, while Duryodhana asked for the entire army of Lord Krishna. So, and then the war begins. And a war begins. Now, the war is happening at a place called Kurukshetra. Now, Kurukshetra is a place very close to Delhi, in a state called Haryana. And you can visit Kurukshetra at this time also. Now, before the war begins, Arjuna, who is the passenger, and Krishna, who is the driver, and you can see that the chariot is being decorated very nicely with beautiful horses, right? And Krishna is accepting duty as a driver. And that is where the Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita begins, actually. So Bhagavad Gita begins where Arjuna asks Krishna that, can you please drive my chariot between the two armies? And Krishna then drives the chariot in between the two armies. And then Arjuna looks at on both the sides, and then he talks further dialogue, and which we are going to learn. Now, before we go further, I'm going to have some quiz for all of you. So Bhagavad Gita is we talked about that, Mahabharata, and how many shlokas in Mahabharata? 1,000, 7,000, 9,000, or 100,000? A, B, C, D. So everybody's answering D, 100,000. Yes, absolutely. There are total 100,000, 1 lakh shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Oh, somebody's saying 7,000. Interesting. Yes, answer is D. The total number of shlokas in Bhagavad Gita are 100,000, 1 lakh shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. All the Vedic scriptures were compiled by Lord Ganesha, Maharshi Vedvyas, Lord Krishna, or Lord Brahma. So please type your answer. Who compiled the scriptures? Lord Ganesha, Maharshi Vedvyas, Lord A, B, C, and D. So Vedvyas, B. Yes, somebody, Chandrasekhar is writing Ganesha. Vedvyas, B, Ganesh, Sumit, Ayushi, B, Hemlata, B. Absolutely, Gary is saying B. Absolutely. Absolutely. Helen is saying B. Savina is saying B. Absolutely. Bhavna is saying B. Yes. Manas is saying B. Absolutely. So Maharshi Vedvyas is the one who compiled, and Lord Ganesha is the one who wrote. So Maharshi Vedvyas and Ganesh ji had understanding. When Vedvyas ji thought that he will put all the scriptures in the form of words rather than remembrance, so there was a condition, as Pallavi is mentioning rightly, that he will have to write without blinking his eyes while he narrates Bhagavad Gita. Absolutely. So there was a condition put forth by Vedvyasji and Ganesha. So Vedvyasji requested Ganeshji that, can you please write it for me? So Ganeshji said, I will write it only if you dictate continuously. The moment you stop, I will stop writing. So then Vedvyasji also put a condition. He said that, okay, I will dictate continuously, but you will write only after understanding the entire shloka. You will not write anything without understanding. So Ganeshji had to understand each shloka and then write. So whenever Vedvyasji needed a break, Vedvyasji used to give a very difficult shloka to Ganeshji. So Ganeshji needed some time to think, and Vedvyasji could take a break. So like that. So there was a mutual understanding between Lord Ganesha and Vedvyasji, and that is how the science was compiled together. Now, how many Vedas are there? 108, 18, 4, or 1? Please type A, B, C, D. How many Vedas are there total? 108, 18, 4, or 1? So Sonali, everybody's saying, Suresh, Savina, everybody's saying 4 Vedas. And absolutely, there are 4 Vedas: Rug Ved, Sam Ved, Athar Ved, and Yajur Ved. So as we were discussing, Bhagavad Gita is a conversation. It is a dialogue between 2 people. And it is dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, who is the student. It is happening on battlefield called Kurukshetra. Now, here is the interesting fact that the dialogue is happening on the Kurukshetra. However, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they are talking about yoga actually. So it's a very, very interesting scene here that Lord Krishna is talking to Arjuna about Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Gnana Yoga on a war field, on a battlefield. How is that possible, and why should Krishna speak about yoga on a battlefield? Usually when we understand yoga, we understand that we are sitting in a very nice place, quiet place. We are closing our eyes, doing meditation. That is usually the understanding of our mental picture, that this is how the yoga should look like. But here, Lord Krishna is talking to Arjuna about yoga on a battlefield, and that is a very, very interesting scenario here. And we're going to learn yoga from the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this yoga is not about just simple yoga. This is like a complete yoga process or yoga ladder. Bhagavad Gita is a complete yoga book. Now, it has, as I said, various processes of yoga explained. But the question for you is, and I know some of you are yoga practitioners here who are joining today with us, and I'm really, really happy to have you all. Many of you are yoga teachers. So maybe just to be interactive, just type, what is the meaning of the word yoga? Translation, meaning, exact, what does yoga mean? So I request everybody. Suresh is saying to unite, to join. Savina is saying, Bhavana is saying meditation. Jilan is saying to join mind and body. Harsha is saying meditation. Helen is saying to connect or unite. Pallavi is saying to strengthen the inner health. Sejal is saying exploring inner self. Rashmi is saying meditation. Darshana is saying balancing mind, body, and soul. Asha is saying to unite, way of life. Very interesting. Unification, Lina is saying. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for all your answers. And yoga is a Sanskrit word, and it comes from a the derivative, a Sanskrit derivative called as yuj. Yuj means linking, yuj means connecting, and the yoga means the process of linking or connecting. So yoga is derived from yuj. Yuj means linking. Now, what is this linking about? You connect something when there is a disconnection. When something is connected, you don't have to connect it again. But we need connection when there is a disconnection. And that is where this yoga science comes into practice. So what is this yoga, Bhagavad Gita yoga talking about? So as many of you answered correctly, that it is a linking or uniting, but there are 4 components to this linking or uniting. So first component is body, uniting body with the mind. Then second component of this is that uniting mind with soul. A third component of it is uniting soul with super soul. And the fourth component of it is having this broader picture together. So uniting body, mind, soul, and super soul or divinity or the cosmic source around us. And this is a complete science of yoga, and we're going to learn this in coming sessions. So Bhagavad Gita is a yoga ladder. So yoga ladder has a steps. So Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about various steps of this yoga, and he talks to him about Gnana Yoga, then he talks to him about Karma Yoga, then he talks to him about Ashtanga Yoga, And then he talks to him about Bhakti Yoga. And we are going to learn about each of these steps. And through these processes, so through knowledge, through karma, through Ashtanga Yoga process, which means Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. This is Ashtanga Yoga, 8-step process. And through Bhakti, through any of this process or through all of this process, we can unite. And what we can unite with? We can unite our body with mind, mind with soul, and soul with super soul. At this time, we are disconnected. Our body wants something, our minds want something, and even after serving our body and mind, we are not happy because we are not happy from inside. Our soul is not happy. So through this yoga process, we are going to connect our body and mind, which is disconnected, and then mind and soul, and bring everything in one streamlined process. And in that way, we are going to learn. So now some people are asking the question, kramas, steps, Sankhya. So we're going to talk about Sankhya Yoga as well. And we are going to talk about all these yogas in coming chapters. So please stay tuned. So as I said, Gnana means knowledge. And you can unite mind, body, soul. Soul is also called Atma in Sanskrit. And super soul or divine source is also called Paramatma. So we are going to unite mind, mana, sharira, atma, and Paramatma together. Now, Gnana Yoga also includes a science which is called as Sankhya Yoga. And somebody was asking this question, Sankhya Yoga. Yes, absolutely. So Bhagavad Gita's 2nd chapter talks about Sankhya Yoga. So first chapter is all about setting the scene of the battlefield. Lord Krishna is driving the chariot between the two armies, and Arjuna is sitting on the chariot. And as soon as the chariot reaches between the two armies, Arjuna sees that on one side there are his own family and friends, his brother Yudhishthir and all. And on other side, he sees his cousin brothers, Kauravas, and he also sees his grandfather, Bhishma Pitamaha, his guru, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Karna, Vikarna. All these people are assembled on this battlefield. And if you read first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first 26 slokas, then there are description of these great warriors assembled on the battlefield in first 26 slokas. Then 27 to 47 slokas, 46 sloka, Lord Arjuna is talking and Krishna is hearing. And here, after seeing all these people assembled, Arjuna starts talking. So now Sankhya Yoga, Lord Krishna explains in 2nd chapter, and he explains about mind, he explains about body, he explains about soul, and he explains about super soul. So here is the understanding of Sankhya Yoga with this picture. Now, all of you can see that on your screen, there is a picture of a chariot, Rath, right? And this chariot has horses. How many horses are there? Please count and type it on your screen. How many horses are there? Somebody's typing 8. Okay. Interesting. 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Absolutely. Somebody saying 6. Okay. 7. Somebody counted 7. Kunjal is counting 7. Okay. Absolutely. Let's focus on the picture. You see, there are 5 horses. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 horses, right? All of you can see 5 horses. These 5 horses are our senses. 5 senses. What are the 5 senses we have? We have eyes, nose, ears, tongue, 4 senses, and 5th is our skin or our touch senses. So we have 5 senses with us, right? So that is the 5 senses, and then there is this rein or lagam, which controls these horses. Now these 5 horses are the 5 senses, Then there's this rain. Rain is the thing which called chabuk or lagam in Hindi, which means that it is the thing which controls these horses. Now, Sankhya analogy compares these horses with this whole chariot with our body or our existence, you can say. Now, these five senses are our horses. The mind is the rein which controls these horses. And then there is this passenger driver, buddhi, intelligence, right? We all have senses, we all have mind, we all have intelligence. Now, what happens, what should happen in a routine scene is that intelligence will give command to the mind, and then mind will give command to the senses, and that is how the chariot works. Now, if these horses decides that they don't want to obey the command of mind, and mind decides that he doesn't want to listen to intelligence, then what will happen to this whole chariot? If this all horses, they start running in different directions. One goes left, one goes right, and few horses go in the middle. Then our chariot will go nowhere, or it might go into the ditch. Similarly, if our senses don't listen to our mind, then the senses will take us into a problem. And if the mind doesn't listen to intelligence, then there is a problem. The whole chariot will be unbalanced, and the drive will not be fun drive. And this person sitting in the white clothes is the passenger. This is the soul, ourself, Atma. So with this analogy, we can understand the Sankhya Yoga. So if you remember this picture, this is what all Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita second chapter is all about, that we are Atma and we are given this body as a human being, and this body is a chariot for us. You know, this body is like a vehicle for us. And what is the purpose of the vehicle? It takes us from one place to another place. And our buddhi or intelligence is our driver. Our mind is the one which controls the senses, and senses are just a part of this all horses, all chariot, and this is the soul. Now, second chapter Bhagavad Gita, 13th shloka, Lord Krishna explains a very, very deep concept of Sankhya Yoga. Here Lord Krishna says that Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti dhiras tatrana muyati. So here Lord Krishna says that as the embodied soul passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. This is from second chapter, 13th shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So what does this mean? This shloka is a very important shloka of entire Bhagavad Gita. So if you cannot remember entire second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but if you can remember this shloka, this will help you to understand second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And as I said, our purpose of going through this exercise is to create a foundation. Today is our foundation, and once you have this foundation, then you can build on it. So this is a very key verse from second chapter. Now here Lord Krishna is saying that we all were small, like, when I was born, my body was very small, tiny body. And then I grow with this body, So this bright spark is the Atma. If I take my pictures when I was 2 years old, then when I was 5 years old, when I was 15 years old, then 25 years old, all the pictures will look different actually. If I show you picture when I was 2 years old, you will not be able to identify me. However, you still say that this is my picture, this is my picture, this is my picture. Because what is constant is, even though the body is changing, what is constant is the Atma. So Lord Krishna says that the embodied soul passes continuously. Our body is continuously changing actually. Now I see that there is a participant here whose name is Manas. Manas is saying that he cannot hear me. Manas, if you want to check your sound at your level, I think you will be able to hear. Everybody is able to hear me. So the soul is continuously passes in this body. And what happens at the time of death? Now, at the time of death, the soul leaves the body and soul passes from this body into another body. And we are going to learn this scientifically, actually, that is this what Lord Krishna is saying true? Can science help us to understand this? And that is what we are going to learn after this. So stay tuned for the scientific understanding of the soul. What is the evidence for the presence of soul? But before we go that, we'll have a quiz session. So are you all ready for the quiz? Yeah. So let's talk about it. What is the meaning of the word Sankhya? Can somebody help me? Have you heard the word Sankhya before? If you understand the word Sankhya, or if you have heard the word Sankhya or Sankhya Yoga. Okay, what is the meaning of the word Sankhya? Does somebody know about it? What does Sankhya means? Sankhya means number. Pallavi says senses. Numbered. Gnana, Suresh is saying. Number. Okay. Quite a few people are saying number. However, I'm going to give you the right answer. Sankhya. There is one word called Sankhya. Sankhya means number. Okay. When you put Y-A Sankhya, Sankhya. Now, Sankhya and Sankhya are two different words, even though the pronunciation of that looks similar when we type it in English. Sankhya, I'm saying is Sankhya means analytical, and Sankhya means number. So analytical means that we are going to critically study each division, each section, and then we are going to learn about it. So that is the word Sankhya means. Now, as I was talking about soul, Lord Krishna says that we are growing in this soul and when we grow, our body is growing and the soul remains the same, and it transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death. Now, so Lord Krishna is saying here that we are spirit soul, we are given this human body, and we are having this human experience. And once we die, we get another body, which we call it as reincarnation. Now, as a scientist, I would always like to check whether Lord Krishna, whatever he's saying is true or not, because we are understanding the application of Bhagavad Gita in 21st of century, and Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. So second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is the basis of yoga process, actually. If you can't understand Atma or soul, one cannot understand yoga. I mean, to talk yoga without Atma it doesn't make any sense. So let's understand Atma, whether soul is a science, a fact, or it is a fiction. And we're going to learn about it various ways. So I'm going to give you various proofs, and it will help you to understand Atma's concept of Atma, presence of Atma within all of us. So when somebody dies, we say he has passed away. वो चले गए, वो गुजर गए. However, when somebody dies, we say he has passed away, but then his body is still there. Then who has passed away? And we all subconsciously know that when we say he has passed away or she has passed away, which means that the soul has left the body. Now, this is a subconscious understanding. We all know that. However, what is the scientific proof? And there are various proofs, and I'm going to give you some of the proofs, scientific proofs of presence of soul. And this might be, some of you might be knowing already. Some of you already have understanding of Atma, so then it doesn't matter to you. But this will be foundation of entire course of Bhagavad Gita. And that is why I'm going to present this concept of science of soul here, and this will help you to build on Bhagavad Gita. So another proof for presence of soul is the consciousness. Now, somebody who is dead doesn't have consciousness, while one who is alive has a consciousness. Consciousness means feeling, emotions. A dead body, even though the body is intact, the eyes, nose, ears, tongue, everything is there. But what is left is the consciousness. And consciousness is the one which helps us to understand our emotions and feelings. And that is because of the soul. It is our intentions, our feeling, our willing, everything is because of consciousness. When you win something, or when you are unhappy, or when you are joyful, or when you are sad, everything is possible because of Atma, because of consciousness. If there is no consciousness, we won't have any of those feelings. However, that is a logical understanding. What is a scientific understanding of the soul? So on your screen, you can see on the left-hand side, there's a picture of a scientist. His name is Ian Stevenson. Now, Ian Stevenson, he passed away actually in 2003, but his work is still continuing at University of Virginia in USA in Department of Psychiatric Medicine. He has done experiment on a lot of young children, and we're going to talk about that. And he has proven with the scientific evidence that there is presence of soul with the scientific understanding. Now, there is another scientist. He's a cardiologist, and his name is Dr. Raymond Moody. He's a creator, founder, and and then there is another scientist whose name is Kenneth Ring. He is also a doctor and professor of emeritus of psychology at the University of Connecticut in USA. And there are many more scientists, Raymond Moody, Ian Stevenson, Kenneth Ring, and many more. Michael Sabum is one of the scientists. He is also a cardiologist. They have published a variety of papers, books, and this book talks about science of soul. In one of the incidences, Raymond Moody writes in his book that as a cardiologist, he was invited to attend a case. Sometimes patients undergo cardiac arrest while they are undergoing surgery or any type of anesthesia procedure. When cardiac arrest happens, it's all of a sudden phenomenon, and our heart stops beating. And when our heart stops beating, the electrocardiogram becomes flat. And this patient was dead in the operation theater because the heart stopped working, and the cardiologist was invited, and he started doing CPR, or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And when the patient was revived, he asked him, "How do you feel?" And at that time, the patient mentioned to cardiologist that while you were doing resuscitation, some of your staff members were laughing and joking, and while I was dead. How is that? So cardiologist asked him that, how do you know that people were talking? So he describes everything, conversation in detail, and cardiologist did not believe him. But then they did experiment on 60 more patients who had near-death experiences. And all these patients could recollect. This patient were near death, means almost dead. The heart stopped working, and then they were revived, and they could recollect all what happened during that time in which they were dead. And all of them had a feeling that they were watching as if from the top of the ceiling, and they had this experience of out-of-body experience, and they could describe everything what happened during that time frame. Now, some of you might feel spooky in this, but Ian Stevenson is a professor of psychiatry, as I mentioned. He investigated 3,000 cases. It's a big number, not 1, 2, 3, not 100, 200, 300, 3,000 young patients. Now, these young patients were less than 6 years of age. And he selected these children with less than 6 years of age, and many of them could recollect their past life memories. And all these children were not only they were able to recollect from their mind, but when these children were taken to their original parents, from their previous life, they could recollect and remember everything. So I'm going to show you some videos about it, and then you will understand it. So here is the picture of Ian Stevenson. And he is, as I said, he has chronicled total of more than 3,000 reports. And most of them were researched by him personally. And all these children were able to recollect their past lives. They could identify their family. They could identify by their name from the previous life. They could identify the relationship with those people in the previous life. I mean, there is more than enough evidence. And then his work is still continuing in US, which proves that there is a science of soul. The soul does exist and there is something more to it. Now, I'm going to show you some videos. Now, I just want to read here a chat. Manas is saying that his screen is freezing. I don't know what's the problem at your end. My screen is good. Is everybody else's screen good? Probably good, right? Everybody can see clearly? Absolutely. Great. So, so maybe Manas has a connection issue, and Manas, you may want to check it. But I'm going to show you a video. Now, this video is a very interesting video, and this is a proof. This is a proof about science of soul, which Lord Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. So, if you are on your screen, and if you have a sound, please increase the level of the sound, because the sound is very important in this video. And this will help you to understand what Lord Krishna is explaining 5,000 years ago has been proven by science as of today. And I'm going to play this video. So I hope you enjoy it. This is like a less than 5 minutes video, so please stay tuned.
Once again, and Charles Gibson. And now, one of the biggest questions of life. What happens when it's over? Heaven? Hell? Nothing? Or might there be a fourth possibility, reincarnation? Could we come?
So I'm just pausing the video. Are you able to hear the sound of the video, able to see the video? Yes? Yeah, I just want to make sure that technically it is okay before we go ahead with this whole presentation of the video. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. And I'm going to continue this video. Please stay tuned.
Back as someone else. Here's Chris Cuomo with two down-to-earth parents who thought they understood the mysteries of life. That is, until their toddler began to talk.
On March 3rd, 1945, a 21-year-old Navy fighter pilot on a mission over the Pacific was shot down by Japanese artillery. His name might well have been forgotten, were it not for the remarkable, some might say unbelievable story of a little boy named James.
Okay, this is me tough. I need somebody to help me.
All right, I'm the volunteer. What do you want me to do?
Okay, just go climb this thing and you have to hold me in case I fall.
Done. James Leiniger is all boy, 6 years old and full of spirit. This is a special plane. It goes in reverse. You don't see a lot of that. James knows a lot about planes, especially war planes.
What kind of airplane is that?
The Corsair.
His parents, Andrea and Bruce Leiniger, say from an early age, James would play with nothing else.
He was obsessed with airplanes. You look around the house, that's all you'll see. Airplanes, helicopters, aircraft carriers.
But then, when he was 2, the planes James loved suddenly began to give him frequent and frightening nightmares.
I'd wake him up and he'd be screaming, and he'd always be laying on his back, kicking his feet up at the ceiling. And I'd say, "Baby, what were you dreaming about?" He'd say, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out."
They sound like typical kiddie nightmares, but Andrea says they went on the same way for months. Maybe too much TV, but James was just 2, and his parents say only watching Barney and Teletubbies.
Teletubbies!
And Andrea and Bruce say they weren't watching World War II documentaries or conversing about military history.
This is an F-18?
No, that one.
So what explains the nightmares and James's strange obsession with airplanes?
I talked to my mom about it a lot of times. My mom had said maybe he's remembering a past life.
What did you say?
Politely, baloney.
Andrea and Bruce of Lafayette, Louisiana are a highly educated, modern couple. To them, the possibility that their little son James was manifesting signs of a former life was, well, a little out there.
You know, having a past life is not the initial conclusion that you come to. You try and figure out any other way he could have. Did he see anything? Has there been anything on television, anything that we've discussed?
But as time went by, Andrea didn't know what to believe. Here's James at age 3, going over a plane as if he's doing a pre-flight check. He would continue to say and do things that were puzzling, like the time his mom bought him a toy airplane.
And I said, oh, look, there's a bomb on the bottom of it. He said, that's not a bomb, Mama, that's a drop tank.
A drop tank.
I'd never heard of a drop tank. I didn't know what a drop tank was.
Andrea's mother suggested she look into the work of counselor and therapist Carol Bowman. Bowman has written 2 books, both supporting the proposition that sometimes the dead can be reborn.
We are taught from a very early age in this culture, in the Judeo-Christian culture, that reincarnation doesn't exist. Once you observe this in a child, and the evidence is very compelling, you have to open up to another explanation for what is going on.
Bruce was deeply skeptical.
He said there has to be a logical explanation.
I don't believe in past lives. I don't believe in this stuff.
But with the violent nightmares recurring 3 and 4 times a week, the Leinegers felt they had to do something. So with guidance from Bowman, they cautiously began to encourage James to share his memories. They say the result was startling.
The nightmares immediately started reducing in frequency. He went down from 3 or 4 times a week to maybe 1 a week, 1 every other week. And at that point was when he started to articulate more about these past life memories.
Seems normal enough, a little boy improving when his troubles are directly addressed. But Bowman says this is more, that James was forthcoming because this is the age when former lives are most easily recalled.
They haven't had the cultural conditioning, the layering over of experience in this life, so that the memories can percolate up more easily. These memories tend to fade between the ages of 5 to 7.
His parents say between the ages of 2 and 4, James would reveal extraordinary details about the life of a former fighter pilot, mostly at bedtime, when he was drowsy.
Bruce said, what happened to your plane? He said, it crashed on fire. And Bruce said, why did your airplane crash? And he said, it got shot. And Bruce said, well, who shot your plane? And I'll never forget the look on his face. He went, the Japanese.
Still, despite these extraordinary stories, Bruce remained dubious, almost to prove they couldn't be true. He began to piece together the details James was sharing. And what he found, he says, shook him to the core. For in many instances, the stories appeared to match the facts. James seemed to be recalling real events, real people, in the life of a man who'd been dead for almost 60 years.
Coming up, a toddler, just 3 years old. So how does he know the pilots from a World War II squadron?
That was like, holy man, you could have poured my brains out of my ears. I just couldn't believe it.
When Prime Time continues.
So are you there? Are you able to see the video clearly? Everybody's okay there? Yes? Perfect, perfect. So what do you think about the video? Do you think it is more informative and it supports our understanding for today? What is your expression about your video? The video has part 2 also. Do you want to see next part of this video? Yeah. Okay. So the next part of the video says that how does this child remember past life? So we are going to see the next part of this video. Please stay back tuned.
With each passing month, little James Leininger seemed to be peeling back memories of a past life. Vivid memories that scared and astonished his parents.
Bruce had always said, what kind of...
Once again, Charles Gibson.
Sorry, I'm just ending this video here just to be more interactive. So in this next part of the video, they identify all the memories from the child, and they were able to scientifically prove that this child was John Leininger in his previous life, and he was one of the fighter pilot from the American side, and he was killed by Japanese, and then they could go back to the history. Now this child could recollect all his life, right? And Ian Stevenson has done 3,000 such experiments on young children, and all these children were able to recollect their past lives. So this is about children. Now somebody is asking what is the name of the video. Manas is asking. Okay, David, Manas, yes, David answered it. Google, yes, absolutely. Google ABC and you'll find this video. And there are many more videos of reincarnation. Now, not only children, but adults. Adults can also remember their past lives, you know. And I'm going to show you next video, which is about a lady who is about 70 years old, and she is taken into hypnotism, and she is able to remember the past life. So here is the next video.
Reincarnation experiments are striking examples of unprejudiced scientific studies. Our first case history is Gwen McDonald, a housewife living in Australia who had never left her native New South Wales. Under regression, she claimed to be Mary Duncan, the reincarnation.
Oops, sorry.
The reincarnation experiments are striking examples of unprejudiced scientific studies. Our first case history is Gwen McDonald, a housewife living in Australia who had never left her native New South Wales. Under regression, she claimed to be Mary Duncan, a woman living in the county of Somerset about 200 years ago. What are the other villages around your area that
the Blogton, the Stone Chapel.
Interesting names, but not there. Not on the most modern and large-scale maps. So to the older ones, back to the 18th century, and suddenly the names began to leap out. Alfred was there. Stone became Stone Chapel. And there was Hornblotten, very close to the way she pronounced it. What was her name?
Mary Duncan, but they call me Rose.
Then she named the people of the area. The names were found in the old records.
What was your mother's idea? The family that she came from?
Lethbridge, Bessie said. Have the temper of a Lethbridge. Temper of the grandfather.
When they took her to Somerset in England, they took as their independent witness Dr. Basil Cottle, leader in medieval English studies at Bristol University. Under trance, Gwen described the path to the cottage in which she had lived. The path crossed a fork in a stream where there was a unique stepped waterfall. Everything was just as she said it would be. The fork, the tiered waterfall, and she was off, moving with the purpose of someone who knows where she is and where to go. The led them unerringly on a beeline to the cottage. After finding the cottage in which she said she had lived, from the outside she described a window that was no longer there, and the wall was covered with ivy. From the inside, it was clear and unmistakable that a window had been there and was now filled in. This was only the beginning of many things she described in trance that proved to be correct. Reincarnate.
So here we can see that she's able to recollect all her past life, So not only children, but adults can also remember their past lives. And that is because our soul transmigrates from one body to another body, as Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. Now, our existence has much more than this body. Actually, our body, we understand our existence as a body, which is composed of this muscle, bone, blood, and all the material inside. But there is much more to our existence. However, our understanding about it is very limited. And that is what is explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. He is explaining about something more than what we have understanding about. And he's explaining about the Atma and the soul. Now, there, the scientist, his name is Harry Mosen, professor of anatomy in USA. He analyzed various constituents of the human body. And what he says that the human body is made up of various chemicals. What are the chemicals? We have iron in our body. And if you take all the iron in our body, you will be able to make 6 small nails, right? Then carbon, there is a carbon in our body. And with the carbon, you might be able to make about 900 pencils. Then there is sugar in our body, right? Carbohydrates. It is able to sweeten like 10 cups of coffee, that much sugar we have in our body. Then what is the next component we have? We have potassium in our body. Then what is the next component we have? We have lime and fat. If you combine all this, you might be able to make like 7 bars of soap. Then we have a phosphorus. And if you take this phosphorus, you might be able to make 20 matchboxes out of it. And there is a water in this body, which is about 10 gallons of water, and a little sulfur, a little calcium, other trace elements. Now, if you put all this total amount of chemicals in body, then they are like calcium, iron, phosphorus, water, and other substances. Then total worth of this chemical is not more than $20. Now, we are much more than $20. If there is a motor vehicle accident, then if like a big expensive car is damaged, then what do you worry about? You worry about the car or the person? It's of course we worry about the person, because the person is more valuable than the car. And what is that value? The value is not $20. It is not the body. It is the person. It is the Atma, what is we are valuing here. And that is what is the valuable of this whole human existence, the Atma. So what does the Bhagavad Gita teaches about Atma? Now, so Bhagavad Gita is all about science of yoga. And in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches to Arjuna about science of soul, or Sankhya Yoga. And what is Lord Krishna talking to him? So he says, this is another important shloka. You can mark it down on your notepad. 2nd shloka, 2nd chapter, 17th shloka. Lord Krishna is saying, Avinashi tu tadvidhi yene sarvam idam tatam vinasham avayasya na kaschit kartum harti. So what does Krishna say? He says that which pervades the entire body. What is that? Which is soul. He says that the soul which pervades the entire body, you should know that it is indestructible. Nobody is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So our soul is indestructible. You cannot destroy the soul. You cannot burn the soul. You cannot cut the soul. You cannot you cannot do anything because soul is very, very tiny and minute, and it is imperishable, which means soul is existing forever and it will exist forever. So if you consider your existence, we all are existing here forever. Only thing is that we are existing in a different body formats. Like our body when we were young was very small body. Now our body is different, and it will differ when we become 70 years old, 80 years old. And there will be a time when we'll have to acquire the new body. And we have seen it scientifically. Science is supporting it very firmly, what Lord Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, that our body changes, soul remains the same. And this soul remains the same because you cannot destroy the soul. Then, which we talked about this, Lord Krishna is saying that as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, and then at the time of death, it changes the body. Then Lord Krishna explains in next shloka, in the second chapter, 22nd shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, Vamsasi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So what is Lord Krishna is saying? As a person puts on new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So our bodies like garments, like clothes. We have clothes when they become old, we give it up and we buy the new clothes. Do we lament? Do we feel sad about it? No, because it's a new clothes. We feel happy about it. Similarly, when we become old, it will be a time for us to give up this body. So at that time, we have this understanding, then our sufferings will be minimal. So as per Bhagavad Gita, we have this body, which is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then we have a subtle body. Gross body means we can see this body, which we can see. Then the subtle body means which we cannot see, but we do have this, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego. All of us have mind, but we cannot see the mind with a microscope. We cannot see a mind with any instrument. We cannot see intelligence, buddhi. Mind is in Sanskrit called as mana, and intelligence in Sanskrit is called as buddhi. And ego in Sanskrit is called as ahankar. So we all have mind, mana, we all have intelligence, buddhi, and we all have ahankar, which is ego. However, we cannot see mind, we cannot see intelligence, we cannot see ego. Only we can perceive them through actions. So I can perceive your mind through your action, I can perceive your intelligence, or I can perceive the ego. So we all have mind and body and ego, but we cannot see it. So we have 2 types of bodies. One is gross body or sthula sharira. In Sanskrit it is called sthula, which means you can see it. And we have subtle body, which in Sanskrit is called sukshma sharira. So when we die, what dies is our gross body. And our subtle body, which is sukshma sharira, transmigrates along with soul from one body to another body. And that is why we are able to remember past lives, because we have this mind and intelligence which is transmigrating with us from many, many lives. I have the same mind which I had in past life. I have the same intelligence which I had in past life. Now you can purify the mind, you can purify the intelligence, you can build upon your memories of past lives, your learnings of past lives. However, you cannot carry forward your body. So in this life, you might be a doctor or engineer or a president, but you cannot carry that title for the next life. What you can carry is the sanskara on your mind. Whatever the understanding you have in your mind will be carried forward in next life. So if we have understanding about Bhagavad Gita in this life, then we can definitely build it on, because this will be carried forward from this life to next life. But say if we use our mind and intelligence in reading newspaper or WhatsApp or Facebook, it's not going to come with us. It is going to end here, So whatever we do with the gross body finishes here. Whatever we do with the subtle body, it carries forward. So we have to be very careful what we are using our mind. We are using our intelligence. We are using our ego. We have to be very, very careful while we use it. Now, here is a analogy. This person on your picture is wearing a shirt, then he's wearing a coat on it, and then he is himself. So the shirt can be, or the inner wear can be compared with the subtle body, and then there is a coat on the top, which is a gross body. So when there is a gross body, when you're wearing the coat, you may not be able to see the inner wears because the coat is covering everything. So similarly, our gross body is covering the subtle body. So we are not able to see, but we can perceive. And then that person himself is the Atma. And then when these clothes become old, you give up the clothes, buy a new clothes as per your affordability, and move on. So that is what Krishna is talking to Arjuna. Now, in Bhagavad Gita explains about various characteristics of the soul. So we are going to understand everything about soul today, because that is what we are. We are not this body. We are soul having this human experience. We are a spirit soul having a human experience at this time. And what happens in the next life, it all depends upon our karma. So that is what we are going to talk in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So what is the soul about? Soul is eternal, right? Soul is eternal means it lasts forever. It has no beginning, no end. So we have no beginning, no end. We are on a continuous journey. Soul is full of knowledge, and soul is full of bliss. Everybody likes to be happy. Nobody likes to be unhappy. Nobody likes to die. Nobody likes to be miserable. Why? Because that is what we are. We are soul, and that is our quality. Then we are indestructible. Our body changes, but we are the same. We are not changing. What is changing is body. One day what is going to die is my body. I am not going to die. So this is very, very important understanding. And the soul is a very, very small, very minute. Now, size of the soul is 1 upon 10,000 of the tip of the hair. This is from Manusmriti, right? This is the size of the soul is from Manusmriti, which says that the soul is very, 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 very small. You cannot see soul or Atma with any microscope or any equipment, because soul is very, very tiny, very small. Actually, size of the soul is same in humans, and size of the soul is same in animals also. So if you take an elephant, the size of the soul is same. And if you take a small ant or insect, the size of the soul is same. So soul is the same irrespective of whatever the body you have. So you might have a dinosaur body, but your soul is the same size, and your quality of the soul are the same qualities, And then where is soul situated? So soul is situated in the region of heart, Hriday. So soul is in the region of the heart. So these are some of the qualities of soul. These are some of the qualities of us, or these are some of the qualities of myself. So soul is indestructible, soul is eternal, full of knowledge, blissful. What changes is the body and not the soul. So now let's make something interactive. Are you all ready for the quiz? Yes, please type yes. That makes me happy that not everybody is sleeping, and because this is a unique platform, the virtual platform, and this is my learning on the virtual platform. I have conducted some seminars, but yes, everybody's awake, everybody's ready for the quiz, nobody's sleeping, because in India it is like 10:30 probably, 10:30, 11 now, but we are going to finish very quickly. And then we'll have question answers. Oh, Jilan is saying she's enjoying. Gautami is giving a compliment. Oh, it's Nikhil is saying it's 10:11. Okay, perfect. For 28:11. Okay, great. I'm really grateful that all of you are joining me at this time, and really happy to so many people. Actually, at this time we have about 90 people, and when we began, there were about 100, 107, 108 people online, and there are so many people still there after almost 1 hour and 40 minutes of session. So that's a long class, Yes, thank you, Sonali. She is enjoying, and Helen is enjoying. Thank you, Helen. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So I'm really grateful for all your time. It's a long time, but hopefully we'll continue this. Last few slides. So let's start with the quiz. I request everybody to participate in this. What is the size of the soul? So, and then there are 4 choices, A, B, C, D. 1,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. B is 100,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. C is 1/10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. And D is 1,000th part of the upper portion of the hair. So choose A, B, C, D. How small are we? How small are we? So Jilan is saying C, Suresh is saying C, Swati C, Atul is saying A, Sharat Chandra is saying C, Sadhana is saying C. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. 90% of you are correct. One answer is C, 1/10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point. So I'm not talking about the hair. If you take the tip of the hair, just tip of the hair, and you divide that to the 10,000 parts, right? That is the size of the soul. So we are very tiny, but our ego is very big. We want to be the biggest in the world, or greatest in the world, but no matter how hard we try to be the greater than the greatest, but we all are insignificant. We all are so tiny in front of cosmic universe that like not even a drop in the ocean, we are such a small entities. And once we understand our identity, that we are very small, we have this humility, humbleness, and this soul or Atma is derived from Paramatma, right? So every soul has a source, and all of us, soul is derived from super soul, Atma comes from Paramatma. So we are part and parcel of Paramatma, and that is called as yoga. So when we understand that we are having this body, we are having this mind, we are having this intelligence, and then we ourselves, which is Atma, and the source of this Atma is Paramatma. So we all are connected. Then it is yoga. Now the next question is, what are the characteristics of the soul? So I have a choices for you. A is unborn, indestructible, and unchangeable. B is cannot be burned, dried, wet, or withered by the wind. C is everlasting, immovable, all-pervading, invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. And D is all of the above. So I see that many of you have picked up the answer, but you can change your answer if you will like. And yes, absolutely, everybody is answering the correct, the answer is D. Absolutely, our answer is D, because we are unborn, we never got birth, existing on this planet, and we will always exist in the planet. We will never ever be destroyed. We are never changing. Actually, what is changing is our body, and that is what Bhagavad Gita is telling, and that is what science is also helping us to understand, that we are eternal. All those scientific experiments of Raymond Moody, Ian Stevenson, everybody has helped us to understand science of Bhagavad Gita, that we are existing forever and ever. We cannot be burned. I cannot be burned because I am not this body. What can be burned is this body. So if somebody tells you something, or somebody hurts you, or somebody humiliates you, he doesn't understand probably, or he or she doesn't understand about the soul. They are talking about this body. People usually identify you with body, with your material qualifications. But we are something more than that, and that is the basis of whole Bhagavad Gita. That is the basis of entire yoga science, right? And then going to the next question. Next slide. So this is our soul. Soul is Sachitananda Vigraha. We are eternal. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. And Ananda means bliss. So we are eternal, full of knowledge and blissful. And the summary of the Sankhya Yoga is body and soul are distinct. We are not these bodies. Okay. So that is the main understanding. When I say I am, I feel that I am the soul. And when I see somebody black, somebody white, different colors of body, nowadays we have this big issue in the world, black and white, brown and like, what are the colors, But all these are just body types. Like somebody has a Mercedes-Benz car, somebody has another different type of car. Car is a car is a car. The body is a body is a body, So we identify people with the color of the body, but that is not so. Soul is active and body is inert. Body is instrument through which the soul experiences. So as I said, the car and the driver are distinct. Somebody has a very expensive car and somebody might have a very cheap car. Doesn't matter. The purpose of the car is to drive, to take us to the destination. Somebody has a black body, somebody has a white body. Doesn't matter. Body is a body. What is the purpose of body? To serve others and love others. There is no other purpose to body. So that is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching all about, that instead of we identifying each other with the bodies, we start identifying each other with the soul. And if this science of Bhagavad Gita is spread across the globe, whatever the scenario we are facing at this time in the world, people are identifying them with the bodies, and then they identify with themselves with the color or a culture or a religion. But when I was born, I was not Hindu. I was... in the previous life, I might be some other culture or other color or other nationality, but that is temporary. That is false. Even though it is there, it is an illusion, because I was not doctor like 50 years ago, and now I'm a doctor, and I will not be a doctor after 50 years because I'm going to die. So the body is continuously changing. What is constant is the soul. So if we start identifying with our soul, then I think the problems of the world will be solved to the greatest extent. Now, in the other picture, you can see that there is a lady who is polishing a cage. And this cage is a golden cage, and there's a bird inside the cage. Now, the lady is polishing the cage, but she is not looking after the bird. So the bird has no food. Now, if you don't feed the bird will die, no matter how expensive or how gold or diamond plated is your cage. The value of the cage is because the bird is there. Similarly, our modern civilization is just like a cage polishing civilization. Atma or soul is inside and we are polishing the body. We spend morning to evening for the body, and we don't have any time for the soul. We don't have enough time to feed that bird. And that is what is making us unhappy. If we start looking after this bird inside the cage and feed the bird, then even though the cage may be old looking, but if the bird is joyful, the life is joyful. Similarly, instead of we spending all our time, entire our time looking after the body, if we look after our soul, of course, we have to look after our body because that is very important. We have to do exercise, we have to eat proper food. And we're going to learn that in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna teaches to Arjuna how to take care of the body in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. right? So, but before going that, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that you should start learning about the soul and taking care of the soul. And feeding the soul is very, very important. And then remaining of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches to Arjuna about how to feed the soul. So the question is like, what is the use of carefully polishing the cage if one ignores the need of the parrot or the bird inside, right? Similarly, people are making all the arrangements for the bodily comforts, but spiritually, everyone is suffering, and everyone is suffering here and there. So the bird inside is asking, "Can you look after me?" But instead of looking after the bird, we are polishing the cage. And how to look after the bird, how to feed the bird, that is what is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not about any religion. Krishna is talking about soul, and soul has no religion. My soul, when it will pass from one body to another body, in this body, my soul will be same as the next life. But my body might be Hindu in this life, maybe Muslim in next life, might be Indian in this life, maybe something else, or might be black in this life, white in next life, or maybe an animal body. We don't know anything about it. So Bhagavad Gita is not talking about religion. Bhagavad Gita is talking about real science. Bhagavad Gita is talking about yourself. Bhagavad Gita is talking about Hindu Dharma. Actually, if you read Vedas, there is no word called as Hindu in entire Veda. Bhagavad Gita is all about yourself and our culture, our life. So summary of this presentation is that we are not these bodies, we are the spirit souls. Just as the car cannot move without the driver, the body cannot function without the soul. There are evidences for the presence of soul, like common sense. We say somebody has passed away, he has passed away, we say. There's one common sense experiment before we end. If you ask a small child, what is this? The child will say, this is my finger, this is my hand, this is my nose, this is my mouth, this is my cheek, right? The child never say me nose, me ear, me mouth. Child never says that, because child understands that he never says me body, he says my body. Now, when I say this is my watch or this is my computer, what does that mean? I am the owner of this computer, I am owner of this watch, but I'm not the watch. I never say me computer. Similarly, I never say me body, I always say my body. So I'm the owner of the watch, I'm the owner of the computer. Similarly, I'm the owner of the body. So the common sense also helps us to understand that we are something more than this body. We have so much power inside that we even don't know about it. And that is what Lord Krishna is going to tell us about. Consciousness, near-death experience, past life memories, all of this will help us to understand the soul. So with that, I want to thank everybody. Namaste to everybody. And if anybody has any questions, please ask them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a copy of Bhagavad Gita. All of you are going to get a download link on your computer, and you click that link, you will get a PDF copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So you can download it on your computer. This is a free copy. If you want, you can purchase also hard copy of Bhagavad Gita and start reading the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There is an introduction also in this book, and you can read about that introduction. But yes, there is a Ganeshji is asking a question, the link for this session. So what will happen is that at the end of this presentation, about 15 to 20 minutes after this session ends, all of you will get an email. And in this email, you will get a link for this video chat and with this video presentation. And you will get the entire recording for your review. So you will be able to see the entire recording again, and you can even you can share it actually with your friends or family if anybody wants to listen to that video. This is free of cost, available to everybody. And after this session ends, as soon as I stop this session, you will see a Facebook group on your screen. You know what? I'm going to share it with you. Let's see. Okay, you can see my Facebook page on your screen, right? So on this Facebook page, you are seeing our WhatsApp group. You will be able to see, just hold on for 1 second. 1 second, I'm going to change it. Cancel. Okay, I think, okay, now you're able to see the Facebook group, right? So this is the Facebook group which we have created. I'm going to share it again. I think somehow it got disconnected. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. This is a Facebook group which we have created, and I'm going to send you an email as well. So I request everybody to join the Facebook group, and we will be able to discuss shlokas from first chapter of Bhagavad Gita in coming weeks. So please join this group and share your experiences, share your feelings, and you will all get the recordings also. Now, if anybody has any questions, please type the questions. Anybody has any question here? Thank you, Laju. WhatsApp group link, I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to send you an email with the link for the WhatsApp group. So you'll receive 2 emails. One email is about the recording, and another email will be about the WhatsApp group. So I'll send you that. Somebody was asking my name. So my name is Dr.Prashant Jani. I am in Canada, and I am the Bhagavad Gita is my passion. So I love teaching Bhagavad Gita. So can anyone join the next session if they missed first session? Of course, they can join. Yes. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. She says very enjoyable, and thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you, Hari Kumar. Thank you, Dilip ji. Bhavna, thank you, Bhavna. No questions. Wonderful. Suresh is asking, do soul travel from one planet to another planet? Yes, the soul can travel from one planet to another planet for sure. And we will talk about it in detail during our WhatsApp group, Facebook group discussion. Soumik has a question. Do we reach unity through any of the steps in the yoga ladder, or do we have to climb the ladder to reach the unity? So Soumik ji, the answer is you can achieve unity with divine through any one of those processes. You don't have to go through all the processes. You can be master of one, and then you can reach divinity. Can we human reincarnate as an animal and vice versa? Rashmi is asking this. Yes, Rashmi ji, if we do bad karmas, we can downgrade or retrograde. We can go to the animal species, and if we do good karmas, we can elevate ourselves. Kalpesh is asking, send me the name of the docs and their books. Okay, I will send you, Kalpesh, or you can just Google it, Raymond Moody, Ian Stevenson, and you will find all the details. Thank you, Sonal, for your compliments. Sumit is saying it was first time for me. It's great. Thank you, Sumitji. I encourage you to read Bhagavad Gita. And if you have any questions, post it on our Facebook group. And I'm going to send you the Facebook group details. This group is a private group. And let me share Bhagavad Gita study groups link, actually. So you will be able to join this group after answering some questions. And here is the link for the group I'm typing. And you got the link there, right? So you can click this link and then join the Facebook group where we are going to discuss. Rupali saying Brian Weiss has the bestseller book, Many Lives, Many Masters. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is on the science of soul. Lena is saying lost the touch in between. Thank you. It is interesting and certain terminologies make sense. Got interested while watching Mahabharata on TV during lockdown. Absolutely. Thank you, Lena ji. Thank you, Jillian. Great session with simple explanations. Thank you, Jillian, for your compliments. Thank you, Aparna ji. Thank you, everyone. Really enjoy. It has been more than 2 hours, and all of you are still enjoying this session. So I'm really grateful to all of you. We'll see you again in the WhatsApp group, and watch for my emails. Thank you, Atul ji. Thank you, Asha ji. Very engaging session. Thank you. Thank you, Marisa. Will always be 2 hours. That's what the minimal time is required, actually. So I hope that's okay for you, Marisa. And again, if you miss any of the sessions because of your busy schedule, you will always get recordings through your email. So, but live session is a different fun. So please try to join live. Thank you, Neeli. Thank you, Sejal ji. Thank you, Sonal. Take care. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and best wishes, and enjoy the weekend. And we'll see you again next Saturday, same time, and you will get the reminder emails. Thank you, Suresh ji. Have you covered second 2 chapters today? So Atul ji, I couldn't cover all the 2 chapters, but this is the foundation on which you can build on and read. We are going to talk some important slokas again from the 2nd chapter when we talk about it for the 3rd chapter, because everything is interlinked, but this is a foundation on which you can build. Thank you, Atul ji. Thank you, Laju ji. Trupti, thank you, Trupti. Thank you so much. Jai Shri, thank you so much. Deepak ji, see you on Saturday. Thank you, Deepak ji, and you will get a video recording of it. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you. So I think, yeah, I really enjoyed the session. Sonali, thank you. Thank you, Deepak. If anybody has any questions, you can email me also. But WhatsApp, Facebook group will be the best platform, actually, because on the Facebook we can all participate. You know, everybody else can be part of it. Now, in your emails, you might get short request for your video review. So if you can send us your video feedback, it will help us. So watch for your email and check it out. Thank you so much. So I'm just logging out now. I'm stop sharing the session, and have a nice weekend. Thank you. Bye.